I'll take care of it. Before you do, let me take care of it.
Sure. So before it starts, you know how to open this, but from here, you'd open it like this to open up audio settings to see this screen. You're used to seeing the screen, and you go.
The output level's not
Yeah.
high though.
It's not high, right? I was expecting to be a lot higher, but this, I'm gonna do it again.
In here, but it's yeah, bring it down anyway.
It's a little more reasonable. It was probably a little better, and I mean, that's down like a third, almost a half.
Yeah,
what
leave it
was.
there. I don't want to.
So it's, yeah, so it's probably
what's
good.
this here? What's the input level? Is that because it's bouncing as we talk?
Yeah.
So do I have the setting on wrong?
No, it should be fine. It's not. I mean, this is the thing that works. This would be.
Oop.
I just
leave it
tested
alone,
my.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That'll be fine.
But no, but when we have we don't mute anything when we
No, we leave it like this.
we leave it like that. We need it
Yep.
open because we're
Yeah.
hybrid.
Okay.
Okay, so that should be good.
So this should
Hopefully,
be good.
let's see what Andre.
Yeah,
says.
we'll see it. He'll have heard the two side by side sounds. But you're right. I don't really want. I was thinking of the dog. But I just.
Yeah, and but they get paid and then direct farm just goes. So it'll be off. I'm actually taking off. They're already married, actually. And she's like. I don't blame her, yeah. Oh my god, I mean, there's so many people like that, I can imagine. Having to go from the fire to that. Like, yeah, her husband and I, we run them off. Like, for, you know, I can call 20, 30. Yeah, no, that's me and my boyfriend, same thing. His immediate family is 7 people. Is this the first one?
I always check the sound on camera. That's a down camera.
No, I have to remember that when I go one day.
I mean, which is whichever one they choose, they got to camera. Yeah. I know, we're good. Oh, yeah, we're making phone calls, yeah.
You guys not do that when I walk in. Yeah. So a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And this is Ariana, she's helping out today.
Hi, Ariana.
Thanks for meeting you.
Thanks for.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good.
It's like I'm gonna be by myself today.
So like a plan process. So.
Well, it's a, I'm sorry, I'm gonna.
That would be more like. Right. Right.
Yeah. there is a deadline for statute of 60 days after.
Yeah, it's set up down here, so I didn't want to be.
But I wonder if they've even, I think that's the thing, I don't think from the one. Stop. Oh, okay.
So, I think, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's usable over there, while we're dark.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's exciting. Because there's money, there's lots of. There's lots of, like, yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, but we see, yeah, no, right, yeah. I mean, but I feel like most people, you know. That it already existed, but then also that we could extend it, you know. Right, yeah. But it, yeah, and it's something that's important, so, I mean, I forgot. I really want that. Now. Yeah. 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 That's what I mean before.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw it very strong.
Could be a quick meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I have any knowledge about. Sure.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's October 23rd at 11 a.m. Convened meeting on SB 497 tax force study repealing the motor vehicle property tax. Thank you for being here, and we have most members today on Zoom. Thank you. Thank to all our staffs for your hard work, dedication. Without your support, we would not be here today. Thank you. I want to thank each one of you for serving on this task force. We have an amazing, talented group of people on this task force. We'll work together as a team to help our state, towns, and cities. We'll work thoroughly and fairly. The motor vehicle tax is one of the most regressive and complicated tax in the state. We'll work together to find solutions. Different towns, different cities, different tax. 2019 Toyota Corolla paying $300 tax in Hartford, and different town paying $200 tax. Our next door, New York, don't have car tax. Pennsylvania, Maine, 18 states don't have car tax. We'll work together. Like I said, we'll find a solution to replace this regressive tax and generate the lost income for towns and cities. With that, I would like to ask my good friend, my co-chair, Representative JP, if you have any remarks, kindly.
Thank you, Senator. Sorry I'm not there in person today. Had some conflicts this morning, but yeah, I'd like to thank Senator Rahman for raising this task force. I do think it's a very noble goal to eliminate the motor vehicle tax. Also, thanks to those who volunteered to participate their time as being members of the task force. As Senator Rahman said, motor vehicle tax is one of the most onerous and regressive taxes working people face in the state. You know, it's unfortunate reality of our public transit system that the majority of people who work for a living need to own a car in this state just to solely get to work every day. I find one of the most frustrating things of our car tax is the fact that there is such a wide discrepancy town to town. Obviously, that's a function of the fact that each town has their own grand list for motor vehicles and their own mill rates. But if you look at the numbers, the discrepancy truly is vast and amazing. I did some rough math here. A 2020 Honda Civic with assessed value of about $16,000. The same car, depending on which town it parks at night, could be taxed anywhere from $173 a year to $571 a year. And I know we have made some strides by lowering our mill rate cap in the past few sessions. And I really look forward to working with everybody on this task force to see what kind of solutions we could come up to eliminate the car tax, or to even just make it fair across the board. So thank you, Senator, for inviting me to take part in this. And I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair, for your kind remarks. Now we move on to introducing our task force members, starting from my right. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Paul Harrington. I'm the first electman of the town of Windsor Locks. I want to thank you for putting me on this committee. Most importantly, we are a very unique town when it comes to this car tax. We have our wonderful airport, which roughly generates in car tax in the car rentals, roughly about $5 million a year in revenue for the town of Windsor Locks. Which, if you know our town, it's a small town, it's about 10% of the budget. So, you know, I agree with all the comments that were made earlier, but I obviously have to protect the interest of Windsor Locks, knowing that 10% of my budget revenue is generated from the car tax, from our rental car companies up there at the airport. So, looking forward to a lively discussion. I think we can get there. How we get there, I don't know, but you're right. When you look at a 2020, Honda, and it could be $173 in one town and $571 in another town. Something has to be done. The car is not worth more in one town than it is the other. How do we equalize that playing field? So it should be a very good conversation. I'm looking forward to getting to this solution. So thank you.
Name is Henry Conlaw. From the town of Madison. And I teach at a distinct. So in one sense, I'm an outsider because other than paying for my contact. But again, as you later, it's going to be a very interesting conversation. And a very important topic. That to find out if there are ways where the taxpayers actually can get them. Okay.
Now, members on Zoom, Madam Clerk will call your name to introduce yourself. Madam Clerk, please kindly call members on Zoom. Thank you.
Mr. Ahmed? Mr. Ahmed, can you please introduce yourself?
Oh, hello. I'm sorry. My name is Tamim Ahmed. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm very glad to be part of this task force, and I'm particularly interested to see how not only the differences of car tax between different towns can be resolved, but also the fact that I think one of the mandate of this task force is to see if we can get rid of the car tax and what are the other solutions that we can bring in on the table, acceptable solutions that would replace the revenue lost from the car tax rescind. So I'm very open-minded. I want to see how this can be done. And by the way, I'm from the town of Glastonbury, and hopefully we can arrive at a solution at the end by the end of this task force mandate. Thank you.
Ms. Gautier?
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Gauthier. I'm the designee from the Secretary of Office of Policy and Management. I am the municipal assessment professional, and I oversee property taxation and assessment legislation and effects to the towns. We currently have over 3 million vehicles in the state of Connecticut, and the tax liability statewide is over $1 billion. It's actually $1.047 billion in tax revenue that the towns collect statewide. That's just on the regular motor vehicle list. There's also a supplemental list of about 500,000 vehicles. So in order for us to do this properly, it's not necessarily a loss of tax. The towns will still make the same amount of money. It will just be a shift from one to the other, to property owners and business owners. So my ability to help you understand how it would affect municipal towns and their budgets, I'd be happy to help you do that. Glad to be a part of the team.
Commissioner Bowden?
Morning, everybody. My name is Mark Bowden. I'm Commissioner of the Department of Revenue Services. Happy to serve on this task force and discuss some of the challenges that result from the car tax. I would tell you, I was a mayor for 20 years prior to this. This is one of the most onerous, difficult, challenging, pain in the neck taxes you ever possibly can collect. Really interested to hear what people say. I will say that it has been a conundrum for the state for about 30 years as folks, municipalities, as we've heard already, don't want to lose any revenue or any kind of perception. I understand where Jen's coming from. It's just a shift over to your home, but that's the perception that you're raising taxes on everybody. So there is really our challenge in trying to figure out a better way to do this. And finally, I'll just say that we're about ready to issue our next round of tax incident studies, and it's going to show that the property tax is the #1 inequitable tax that we have in the state of Connecticut, and far, far above any state tax that we assess.
Representative Capra.
Thanks so much. My camera does not seem to want to work today. I am State Representative Eleni Cavros-DeGraw. I represent Avon and Canton. That's District 17. I'm also chair of the Planning and Development Committee. Happy to be a member and not co-chairing it. I thanks to my good co-chair on Planning and Development for making a wise choice by choosing our vice chair, Brandon Chafee, to be his co-chair. And at this point, I'm just really curious to hear some of the ideas because as has been said, it's a very difficult tax to replace because we know we need the revenue in order to make our towns run, to have police departments and fire departments and pave our roads. But we have to come up with creative solutions how not to make it more regressive or more unfair to the taxpayer. So glad to be here. Thanks.
Senator Fazio?
Good morning, everyone. It's good to join you. My name is Ryan Fazio. I represent the 36th District in the State Senate, and I'm the ranking member of the Planning and Development Committee. I appreciate the interest and the intention of our Senate Chairman of the Planning and Development Committee, Senator Rahman, in trying to address this tax, which I think is at best very annoying to many citizens across the state. I hope we also in discussing this issue, consider the general burden of property taxes in the state, which not just for vehicles, but for real estate is extraordinarily high compared to almost every other state in the country. And obviously the ways in which the state government contributes to that high tax burden, whether it's mandates of different kinds, and other policies and measures that give Connecticut a higher property tax burden than the rest of the country, which, a consequence of which is us having a motor vehicle tax in the first place, and secondarily, a motor vehicle tax that's very high. So I do also, like the chairman of this committee, want to see that burden, especially on motor vehicles, reduced and maybe reduced even relative to other forms of taxation. So I'm looking forward to this task force and working together with the members of it. Thank you.
Mr. Khan? Mr. Khan?
Could you repeat the name again?
Mr. Sajid Khan?
Yes, I'm Sajad Khan. I'm a East Lyme resident. I'm a dental surgeon practicing. I'm also a small business owner. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity to bring in different dimensions to this critical issues of car property tax. And I have an opportunity due to my job also, that I meet about 200 people a month, I would say, and had a one-to-one conversation with them. A lot of them are residents. Some of them are veterans, some of them that actually comes back to Connecticut in summer. And some of them I asked that what made you move to South Carolina or Florida? It's a very common answer that I get, is that the taxes of Connecticut is ridiculously high and it is becoming difficult. So if somebody making a $50,000 salary income, for him, that $500 or $400, one of the members just mentioned a few minutes ago, is quite significant. And even if somebody's retired or thinking about retiring, and unfortunately, this significant number of people that I spoke with, they actually expressed they love Connecticut, they love the nature, they love the environment, they love to stay in Connecticut, but because of the tax issues, they are forced to move to South, and a lot of them are not that happy to move out of the area. And unfortunately, I just met a veteran actually. He used to live in Ledyard, and I saw him in a pickleball tournament. And I was talking to him, and he was mentioning that, he all his life he wanted to stay in Connecticut. He was born in the state of Connecticut, but now he has moved to Florida. And one of the reason he was mentioning that he mentioned that he registered his car before even he moved to Florida to save the car property tax. So I think that tax evasion of property tax, car property tax also is very significant. A lot of people do not register their vehicle in Connecticut because of this car property tax. So I'm so happy to be a member of the team, and I'm looking forward to see the changes that will make this state more attractive to the people to move in. So we have a better staffing situation. We have a major issues with a lot of small businesses are hurting because they cannot get the right staff, or the workforce is suffering significantly. And the workforce are not a $500,000 earner. Their workforce is somebody who's making $15 to $25 an hour salary. So I think it will empower our position of Connecticut in the whole national situation if we can make it very competitive with the other states. So the people will love to move, and it will help our employment situation also. Thank you very much for making me a member of the team.
Senator Martin? If anyone hasn't yet introduced themselves, please do so now.
Good morning, everybody. It's State Senator Henry Martin. I appreciate the invite to be part of this group, and I'm anxious to hear what the conversation as a whole. I think we all know that it's a burden on a lot of people in each of the municipalities, but there is that factor of what are the towns and cities going to do to offset any type of revenue loss. So I'm anxious to hear what everybody else can say. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so very much for being here again. A special Act 23-24 create this task force to study repealing the motor tax and replacing the loss of revenue. Under any condition, we are not going to move with this task force without finding the way, replacing revenue for most in the town and city. So with that, I think a good first step would be to have an informational presentation on property tax to better define this issue. I think we should or we could invite CTN, cost, Connecticut Voice for Children, and any other tax experts. But we'd love to hear from our task force member if anyone has any idea or any suggestion, especially our finance committee, Senate, House, and ranking members, and also chair and my chairs. Thank you.
I'll just add, OPM is on, and they threw a number out already. I think it was just over $1 billion in statewide car tax. So we can dial in a little bit more, maybe a town by town breakdown of how do we get to the $1 billion, but look at it, 569 towns, see what towns, where they're coming out in terms of how do we get to the $1 billion in car tax, and seeing each town by town to see, what impact would be there as well.
Sure. Thank you. Anyone else want to add anything?
Senator
Thank you.
Jennifer Gothier from OPM. If you would like those numbers, I'd be happy to provide those. That information comes directly from the abstracts from the town. So I've collated that, and that's how I came up with the information along with the current mill rates. So I have that information. I'd be happy to provide it to you for distribution.
So please kindly should email our clerks, and she would distribute it to members of task force. Thank you. Anyone has final comments? See or hear not, I don't see anyone in the Zoom or in person. Anyone? Mr. Co-Chair, would you like to say a few words or final comments, or you want to add anything else? People will talk.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I mean, I think that the data would be extremely helpful. Obviously, the biggest issue with repealing the car tax is making the towns whole, making them feel like we're not just pushing additional costs onto them and their residents. So that spreadsheet would be very helpful to craft a plan going forward to see exactly which towns need what revenue replacement. Other than that, I look forward to the informational forum. I think that that's a great idea. The more ideas we have at the table, I think the better. And looking forward to see what we could craft out of this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair, and thank you everyone for being here today. Like we said, we are in here to work together, finding the solution, how we can define these issues, how we can generate the loss income for town and cities. Our town and cities, they are depending, like Paul said, 10%, some town is 25-30%, depending on budget income. So we'll work together, we'll work hard as a team. If we work together as a team, we can do anything, everything. There's nothing can stop America when moving forward as a team. So thank you being here again. Now, our next meeting, the clerk will send out the date and time with the agenda by email. Next meeting. So thank you. I will see you all next meeting and meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.